Hi guys, welcome back to Cindy's art page. Today we're going to continue doing a Dandelion Brusho number 2. It's great to have a set. Use Arches cold press paper, I love that. And then Brusho, these are the colors that I used in my background. And then these are the colors that I used in Holbein in order to paint more of the detail. I am using this gum masking fluid, and I always put a little soap on my brush before I dip it into that product, like I am right now. And that is an awesome trick. Wet your brush, dip it in that soap like you saw in there, and then I will let that just sit for a second, and then I'll dip my brush into the blue so I can paint what I'm doing right now. I'm putting the masking fluid down so it blocks out the final dandelion, and I'll have that shape no matter what I'm putting on that paper, which you're going to see me put a ton of Brusho on. So what I will do when I'm finished with this brush and this masking fluid is I'll rinse the brush off really good and clean it off. The gum, that masking fluid gum comes off really easily. If you don't do that, basically you'll destroy your brushes. So this is an old cheap brush that I have. It's not a high quality brush, and I love it. I will use this, or I will use a stick. You can get a nice thin stick, shape it, whatever you got to do to make a point on it, and you can use sticks to dip in that Brusho and use it in here to put the dandelion together with this masking fluid. So now the fun comes. We're going to use our Brusho powders, and I'm going to sprinkle on here a couple of the different colors. These Brusho containers have lids on them. I put a thumbtack through the middle of that lid, and it's a great way to have a little shaker pour form. You know, I can shake the Brusho out of there and anytime whenever I'm working on a painting, and so it's a great easy way to use it, and I use it in a variety of ways, usually a folded paper or shaking out like this. And you saw me shake this onto dry paper, then I squirted it and I got it wet. And so I'll let that run through. I'll let this color just run, and I'm using a tiny bit of tissue paper, just paper towel, blot it up, and I'm using that in order to create some texture, maybe to lighten up that sky. And then you saw me pour in the green, and I want it to have kind of a grassy effect. So I'm just using a brush, a regular watercolor paint brush, and I clean them off really well when I'm using Brusho. Brusho is just watercolor, but it's very intense. And so you want to make sure you're always cleaning your surfaces, and you can see I've got my paper on top of a towel, and that towel is an old beat up one, and I don't care if Brusho gets on it, but you do not want Brusho powder getting around on your table or your clothes. It does not come out easily. It's very permanent in my opinion. After I let my paper dry, I decided I want some more intensity to this dandelion, and I still have my masking fluid on at this point. So I put in some of the deeper blue into the middle of that top right dandelion, and you can see I'm just brushing that around. And I added a few salt crystals, and in between the two dandelions at the top of the little one towards the one I'm working on right now, you can see there's this crystal effect. Salt is wonderful. You don't want to add it in when your paper's super wet. You want to add it in when some of the sheen starts to come off the paper. I always put a bright light by me, and I can tilt my paper, and if it's super wet, it'll have this shiny look to it. And once the paper absorbs some of the water, I'll see it kind of get duller, and that's when I add my salt. Just try different things. So I've gone ahead and taken off the masking fluid at this point, and I am drawing in a little bit of detail around these seed heads, and you're going to see me work on that. I'm going to use the paints that I showed you in the beginning of the video, and I'm just going to use that to add more detail in. On this top right one, dandelion head, I do like the darkness around that center, because if you look at a dandelion, it's very dark. It's got a white head in the middle, but it's very dark around it. So I just think about adding a little bit of detail so people can make out the details that are going on in this picture. And I only add enough darkness in to help define the shape. But I don't want to keep defining it too much, or I'm going to wind up painting a photo versus having an abstract piece of art. So this is really fun stuff. Just creative. I like it's a little messy. One of the things that I always will tell you is I can paint a little tight. I like to paint botanical paintings, and they're wonderful, but I need to loosen up and try different things. So this is one way to have a lot of fun, and I think this is also a great video for you and your friends who might want to have a paint night together. Get some Brusho out, make it really easy, and just create some small abstract paintings that you can give away as greeting cards or whatever you want. Here's how mine turned out. I would love to see yours. Please hit subscribe, share this with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you next time. You guys have a great day.